It's only after you lost everything that you're free to do anything.
In this video, we're going to be making the anti-user button. And I'm going to show you when I'm talking to boot right here. So this is in Excel. I've actually wrote this in 6 different programming languages, but I'm going to show you first in Excel. So this is using Visual Basic. So I click on this button. And so basically this button can never be clicked on. And that's the whole point of this. And so it just moves out of the way whenever the cursor gets close to it. All right, so that's our intro. Now let's get to the code. So I got this in 6 different programming languages. So I wrote it in Python, C++, Java, JavaScript, Rust, and Visual Basic. So this is Python right here, some Python code. This is C++ right here. And each of these does exactly the same thing. So I'll show you a demonstration in each of these programming languages here. But basically, this is just the code for each one. It's pretty similar, but it's written in slightly different style. Here's Rust. And Rust and Python are basically written on top of C++, so it's similar, but I guess not the same thing. And then here's the Visual Basic. So you may not know this, but in Excel, you can write programs in Visual Basic and have it do things for you in Excel. You could also use Python in Excel as well. But yeah, it only took about 20 lines of code to make that button move all over the place. So this is what you saw in the intro right here. And some simple instructions. Had to do a few things inside of Excel to get it to work. But all right, so let's get to the code. So naturally, I used GPT 3.5, I believe. I did this a while ago. I used it again. I used the GPT-5 also to create some of the C++ code for this. So I'll get into that in a second. So yeah, this is basically it. The anti-user button. And I'll go through the code here. We got a function for moving the button. Basically, when the mouse cursor gets close to it, it's going to move it by a certain speed, and it's going to move the X and Y values and just move it out of the way, so you can never click on it. It actually didn't take too much Python code. Of course, all this is probably running on a few hundred lines of C++ code. So, but here's the C++ code. This took a little bit of doing to get it just right, and it actually took quite a bit of code. As you can see, it's very complex compared to Python. I don't really use C++ too much, so I know maybe this could be done better, but I just used the ChatGPT to generate all this code. And I started with the Rust code first and then how to generate it from that. So I got it working originally with the index.html. I think that was probably the very first one. Might have been the Python that I did first. I don't know. It was a couple years back. And then yeah, once I got it working with one programming language, I just switched over to another programming language, and then had to rewrite it in the next one and the next one. And here's back to Java, kind of all over the place now. I'm going to put all this code up on GitHub also, so you don't got to pause and try to type all this in. You can just jump on GitHub, like and subscribe if you like GitHub and all that. But yeah, jump on GitHub and grab the code if you like. Maybe modify it or make your own anti-user button in whatever programming language you like to use. I think I covered the major ones though. I don't know. But yeah, and then this runs in your browser right here, your HTML. And I basically just did it with some JavaScript, essentially. But same kind of basic concept, X, Y values. It's going to multiply those, and it's got a speed. Pretty similar. Actually, it took quite a bit of doing to get ChatGPT to make a button that I couldn't click on. I had to really explain to it that I didn't want to be able to click on the button at all. And so I kept on trying to make the button, follow the cursor and all kinds of stuff. But eventually I was able to make it an anti-user hostile user interface button, if you will. Here's the Rust code right here. And, this is just basic, basic XY move values, and then it's just translating those and moving the cursor, or moving the button away from the cursor, essentially. All right, now I'm rambling. All right, now I should probably get to the demonstration of each of these buttons in the different languages. I think Java probably looked the nicest, even though Excel looked pretty nice. This Visual Basic. Oh, yeah, here's the code for the Visual Basic in Excel. Probably should have warned you before I switched it up. All right. Oop, module 2. Now, if you go to this moving button, so you got to add a form, and then I added a command button to this form. And then if you right click on that, you go to view code, and then bam, here's some code. Now, I don't believe Excel has a dark mode, so I got to look at this white bright screen, and it's pretty small probably. Not sure if I can even zoom this in, but it's, just some basic code. It's going to be on GitHub as well, so let me, oh, yeah, that was kind of bright. All right, and here we go. Let's check it out in Java. I'm going to compile it in Java. Run the Java compiler. Here we go. And then see, this one actually returns to the center. So this one actually worked the best, I believe. See, once I stop clicking on it, it actually moves back to the center. And then I just clicked off it. All right. So yeah, that's basically all this program does. It's a button you can never click on. All right, next. All right, let's go to, what do we got here? Rust. All right, so this is Rust. We're going to run it, compile it in Rust, see what it looks like. All right, here we go. Okay, so that's basically what it looks like in Rust. All right, kind of buggy. Probably do a little bit better, but that's not the point of this. We're just trying to see how many different languages we can write it in, even though 3 of these are basically using C++, so, or 3 of these languages, I should say. So speaking of C++, we'll jump over to that, compile it in C++, and it's jumping all over the place. But it's the same kind of concept. It won't. We could probably make it work a little bit better, but whenever you get close to it, it moves away automatically. As you can see, I'm just moving the cursor and it's just moving away. All right. So there's our CMake list, and let's see, I believe we showed you the code in the VS Code editor. That's the C++ code right there. A lot of stuff. All right, and here's the GitHub. So yeah, all that code's on GitHub. So you can check it out and download it if you like and modify it. Here's this conversation with ChatGPT 5. So I used it to rewrite the code in C++, use min.gw for compiling. I told it what editor I was using. So I don't want to use other additional compilers. I don't want it to get all complicated. I copied in some Rust code right here, and it spit out some C++, a bunch of C++ code. And then, so I was having some issues because it wasn't compiling. So my project name was test because I was just trying to slap it together, and for some reason I should have named it a better name. Then I had another error, and then another error, really long error, bunch of errors. Wow. Yeah, so I copied all those in. Let's see, what else do we do? It says it fixed it and kept prompting it. Okay. So I think I was having some issues with the C++, but I got it kind of working, so I just stopped right there. And I was like, you know what? It's good enough. Yeah, see, I was having some issues, kept trying to get it to fix all the code without really focusing in on what the error was. Basically just trying to get it to generate the entire code base for me, or the entire, app all at once. I was like, give me the whole app. Don't just tell me which code to fix. All right. So yeah, this is basically just trying to fix it. It was pretty much working at this point, but I was just trying to fine tune it. And I was just being very vague. I probably could have got further if I was more descriptive. All right, well, yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then at some point, I believe I asked it about Zig, the programming language. But then I looked it up and it looks like it's written on C++ as well. So I was like, well, it's basically looks like Rust. So I was like, what's the point of doing it? Oh, there we go. I asked it, what other languages can this be written in? And it told me the languages I already used pretty much. So, I mean, I think I pretty much covered the major ones. I mean, you rewrite it in Kotlin, but that's basically Java with essentially, not that much different. Then asked about Zig. It assured me I can easily write it in Zig, but I did not try this. Maybe you could try it. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I didn't feel like doing all this extra stuff with Zig. I mean, I'm already using Rust, and seems like what Zig is. It's kind of like an alternative to Rust. But anyhow, that's the anti-user button. And let's close this out with a little anti-user button action right here. Click here to keep a user busy for hours. All right. Oh, looks like I can click on it. Nothing really happens. I didn't program anything to happen, even if I do click on it. But, essentially you shouldn't be able to click on it. It should move fast enough, but my mouse, I got the speed up on super high, so I'm going to outrun this button. I'm going to catch it. But yeah, that's it. That's all, folks. That's the anti-user button. All right.
It's only after you lost everything that you're free to do anything.